All right, well, let's get to it, man. Let's get to it. Hang with Beat Drop Podcast. I got my dog K-Teq, and this is a second time part 2 exclusive. All bombs and everything. You feel me? And dog, it's crazy, man. Well, first, thank you for being on the podcast, bro. You're my dog. You already know, man. And then second, the last time you were on, bro, was 2019. I'm like, that seems like ages ago, bro. You feel me? I'm like, what a trip, man. And like, I know we were talking before we started recording. We were like, all right, we gotta record. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, I was thinking while you were speaking, I was like, bro, so much has changed between that time frame and now. You know what I mean? Like, who know what would have happened at that time? Like, we probably had goals. We were like, okay, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, and then, you know, pandemic happened and was like, psych, you know what I mean? That ain't gonna psych you, bitch, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that ain't gonna happen, you know what I mean? But first off, man, like I said, I'm glad you're here. And just how are you doing, man? Like, what's good with you, man? Like, obviously, if people haven't listened to the first part, go listen and get to know K-Teq a little bit better, man. And we're gonna touch about, you know, just everything overall. But how are you doing, man, as a person and just everything overall, you know?
Hey man, thanks for having me, B Drop, man. I appreciate it as
Love,
always. I'm good. I'm good, man. I'm in good spirits right now.
yeah.
You know, I feel like kind of like everybody, we all been, I don't care who you are,
Yeah.
you got tested in the
Mm-hmm.
last 2-3 years, you know, some way, somehow. So
Yeah.
I'm actually in a cool space right now, you know.
Yeah.
Uh and just getting back into that creative zone again, you
Yeah.
know, picking back up where, and I don't even say picking back up because everything has just changed, you know.
Yeah.
And so just kind of like, I'll say just more like just reinventing the wheel, you
Yeah.
know, with things and just kind of operating on that pivot, you
Yeah.
know. And but yeah, I'm actually real good right now.
No, I feel you, man. And do you feel like when the pandemic happened, um, were you able to be creative around that time, or do you feel like just it was just too much for you to kind of be in that zone? You feel me?
Um to be honest with you, when the
Yeah.
pandemic hit, like I was already just recovering from being sick. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like I had just got out the hospital
Yeah.
and just on some, you know, other stuff, not COVID, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Just recovering. And so I was kind of like a mixture of like nervous, but then at the same time, like trying to process it all, you know,
Yeah.
because I ain't gonna lie, I didn't really take the pandemic serious, even though
Yeah.
uh you know the news was saying everything. The when I took the pandemic serious was when I started seeing NBA players getting it.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah. Me
I,
too,
I,
man.
so when when the
Yeah.
pandemic happened, I remember I was at breakfast and I was telling my homegirl, I'm like, yeah, I was like, you hearing about this COVID stuff? And we just laughed. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We
Yeah. Yeah.
laughed at it. And I was like, maybe this is just something like a bad karma because there's a lot of white people getting it.
Yeah. You didn't believe it. You're like, no, it ain't gonna happen.
I was like, I believe it when I start being around the homies and be like, yeah, man, hey, bro, the homie got COVID, you know, and I would say it just like that, you know,
Yeah.
and then next thing you know, it was like this NBA player got that NBA player got it. I
Yeah.
was like, ooh, I was
Yeah.
like,
You're like, oh, hey, that shit's serious, man.
I was like, I
This
was
shit's
like,
not a game.
I was like, it's getting spicy.
Yeah.
And then my
Yeah.
and then my mom got it, you know, and
Yeah.
then that's when I was like, okay, you
Yeah.
know,
Hit
like
home.
it hit close, you
Yeah.
know, and then you start hearing about all the deaths and stuff, and then that's when I was like, okay, like
Yeah.
it's time to tuck our tail and but throughout the pandemic, it brought me close with a lot of people. Like I started to have like the longest, most deepest conversations with
Crazy.
random friends that I ain't talked to in a minute because we was all locked in.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we was
Yeah.
we was literally all locked in, you know.
Yeah.
And so it was like it gave me because I'm not really like a phone person, you
Yeah.
know. I'm not a texter like that. I'm more so like a flyby guy. You know, you see me when you see me. We'll have a deep
Yeah.
conversation. We'll talk, but then after that, it's like I try to just. I'm usually just in my own zone, so it allowed me to like catch up with everybody and all that stuff. So
Yeah. No, that's cool, man. And it's crazy because, it's crazy how like the pandemic, it made you ask yourself a lot of questions that you possibly wouldn't be asking yourselves if it wasn't for the pandemic. You know what I mean? So throughout the pandemic, I created something called mental praise, right? And it's for your mental health. And because I was like, man, like throughout this pandemic, like mental health must have been really tough for a lot of people. You know what I mean? And not a lot of people like to talk about it. And, and especially men, right? Especially in the men community. Like I feel like mental health is something that we don't speak about. It's, hey, nah, we good. Like, nah, I'm straight. Or, you know what I mean? That's just our language. That's just how, we grew up and we think that's fine. So for yourself, like, how was your mental health during that time? Like, were you doing anything to just try to keep peace around that time?
it's a daily thing for me, even before the pandemic. But
Yeah,
I try to find enlightenment in the situation. You
yeah,
know, um, it was hard. It was even as much stuff as I do on a regular basis. It
yeah,
still was like hard because I had a grandfather who actually passed away in the pandemic,
yeah,
and we couldn't see him, and he didn't understand because he was battling cancer, and like all he wanted to do was like see us, and
yeah,
we couldn't go visit him and like lift his spirits up while he was going through chemo.
yeah,
And he ended up passing away, and it was unfortunate that he ended up passing away during the pandemic. And what hurt even more was that the funeral home wouldn't even allow more than 10 people to participate, to actually physically be present. Like it wasn't even like, okay, 10 people in now, 10 people out. It was like
right.
10 people,
Total.
period. You know what I mean? So it's like this man is 85 years old. Like he touched a lot of lives. And you mean to tell me that only 10 people can say goodbye to him? You know what I
That's
mean?
crazy.
So it was like, I think during the pandemic, that was like the hardest thing for me to deal with that. You know, yeah, we have like Zoom now and like all these, kind of like ways of
Right.
communication, but like I still like the, you know,
Yeah,
talking to people in person. you
yeah.
know I guess I'm considered old school, but I still like that, like,
No, it's true.
but things didn't change so much. It's like ain't nobody trying to get sick, man, even if it don't take you out. Like
Yeah,
we're nobody trying to really get sick, at least that's where my headspace was.
yeah,
So yeah, like I said, the pandemic, it was really a trying time. I mean, if it didn't try you emotionally,
yeah,
financially, it was like,
yeah.
I mean, for me, my business tanked. Like my clientele wasn't making any money. So how was I supposed to make money? You know,
Yeah. Yeah,
like,
yeah. Can you touch a little bit on that? Like, you know what I mean? Because like I feel like, you know, a lot of people might see that, when you DJ and I know you're a man of multiple hats, right? And it's like, you have gigs and you do freelance work. At that time, right now we might not see it, but at that time it was just a pause. It was like there was nothing coming in, right?
yeah,
So, for someone who does that type of work, like how did that go for you? You know what I mean? Like you said, your business went to tank. Like that's not easy to say. You know what I mean? Like that's not just like, oh, I'm hungry. Like it's not an easy statement to just say. You know what I mean? Like so when you say something like that, like can you kind of like tell us the whole story behind that?
so for me, it was I had to rely 100% on family
Yeah,
at that point. Family came through because, like I said, I was battling health issues already. So like it just kind of extended that whole thing. Because for one, aside from not being able to get little gigs, it was like, the whole media was like saying if you have pre-existing conditions, like you are more septic
yeah,
to getting the COVID.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I was really like, oh yeah, I ain't come outside. Like I'm talking about stepping outside of the door.
Yeah.
for a month. You know what I'm saying? Like straight, I was locked in the house. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? I was like, only way I'm gonna go outside is if I have a whole Elon Musk set up, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
like Apollo 13.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You need one of those.
Right.
No, I feel it, bro.
I was like, ain't no way. I was like,
No.
ain't no way. It's the bird box outside, you
Yeah.
know?
No. Yeah. You're like, nope.
Nope. Hey, no,
Yeah.
man.
No. No.
It wouldn't even know. It was a no-brainer. It was like,
No.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
we just about to sit this one out.
Yeah. Yeah. That's facts.
But on the financial side, it was like I personally was
Mm.
blessed because for one, I had family.
Yeah.
But then two, I have aside from like the whole artistry side of me, like I went to school for computers, you
Mm.
know, and I had to put my IT hat back on, you
Mm.
know, because I was like in this crazy world that we're in right now where things is going crazy, like there was a demand for IT people, you
Right.
know,
Right.
because at the time, a lot of businesses were converting and sending all their employees home, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
working remote. So think about it. Half of the world is switching to remote, you know,
Right.
support
Yeah.
at home. So that actually opened up a window for me to be the person to convert companies to remote technology.
Right. Right.
A lot of companies weren't equipped with the remote technology for working from home at that
Yeah.
time, you know.
Yeah.
So I put my IT hat on and I just went to work, you know,
Yeah.
and that sustained me throughout the entire pandemic. You know,
Yeah.
I was actually working at the Section 8 building downtown LA. It was
Uh,
completely shut down. They sent everybody home and they only had the IT guys coming in
mm-hmm.
to set up computers and cell phones, like everything people needed. And
Yeah.
then they will schedule them to come into the office.
Yeah.
We trained them on how to set everything up at home
Yeah.
and sent them home with remote setups so that they can work from home.
Damn.
So
That's
like
crazy.
that's how I survived. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, I feel like everybody just kind of had to do what they had to do at that time, like whether it was, you know, hustling PPPs
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Whatever it took.
unemployment
Yeah.
schemes.
Whatever.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
hey, one thing people gonna do is they're
Yeah.
gonna figure out a way. You know, with you was slinging toilet paper because you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Hey, you were on off road, man. You were trying to figure it out.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
No,
uh,
man. I feel it.
you just become resourceful, you know, when you don't got it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
People,
That's facts.
hey, I seen people slinging masks. You know what I'm saying? Like people was at home crocheting
Yeah.
masks. They were like, "Ooh, we about to make some masks." You
Yeah.
know what
Yeah.
I
You
mean?
got.
Like,
Hey, man. We
hey,
all gotta eat, man.
bro,
Yeah,
hey,
man, I feel it. And it's crazy because you said you put your IT hat on, but did you put your ego to the side? You feel when because and the reason why I say that is because like you were doing gigs, you're doing all these things, and I'm sure that's your passion, that's your purpose, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
I don't want to speak for you, but I don't know if IT is probably like your long-term purpose, right? Maybe it's something you know how to do. So like, do you feel like you kind of were like, damn, like you had to put your ego to the side in a sense because you were like, man, like I kind of had to do something else that I possibly didn't think I was going to be doing at this time?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I definitely had to put my ego to the side,
Yeah.
and granted, like I knew I had to prepare myself mentally to
Yeah.
know that, you know, I at that point you just trying to survive, man.
Yeah.
You literally just trying to survive. You're trying to figure a way out.
Yeah.
And it ended up being better than I thought
Mm.
because I established connections with other IT guys there
Right.
that, you know, had side businesses. Like I met an IT guy who had he was a real estate
Yeah.
agent, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah. Yeah.
full
Yeah.
time, but he was in the same position, you know, like
Yeah.
he couldn't sell any properties. Like he had to go to work,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
so like he dropped so much gems on me. Like he put me on to like stocks, investments, and
yeah,
all kinds. Like every day he was just like telling me about financial literacy, and like he was an Asian guy, so he told me a lot. He told me like how to acquire laundry mats and
yeah,
just so many different ways of making money. But really it was about, he taught me the stock game. Like he
yeah,
taught me so much about stocks and investments. Like I was so clueless
yeah.
about all that stuff. Like I just figured stocks and all that was for like rich people, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, you don't know. You just you see stocks, you think it's only for the rich. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? No,
yeah.
it's true.
And I mean, so like, you I feel like I say, you do the best. The best thing that I did was to just see it first, that I had to get myself in the right headspace to even see that there was an opportunity
Yeah.
at that time. Yeah, I definitely had to put my ego to the side to put my
Right.
IT hat on, but at the same time, like you, I just know that you got to do what you got to do
Yeah.
until you can do what you want to do sometimes,
Yeah.
and
Bars.
and those options to me, honestly, at the end of the day, is better than what I know some other people have. That like
Right.
that's a blessing to even have something like that to fall back on,
Yeah.
because that could have that option probably wouldn't have been there had
Yeah.
I not made the sacrifice beforehand.
Yeah. No.
But that's why I did that. Like when I first realized that I wanted to be a DJ, I got parents that's from a foreign country, so me telling them like, "Oh, mom, I want to be a DJ. Like, can you support me? Can you like
Yeah.
buy turntables? Like, can you buy me a pair of 1200s?"
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
ain't no way.
Like
They'd be
what?
like, "What? Crazy." You know what I'm
Yeah, yeah,
saying?
yeah. You
Like,
bugging
so
right now.
so I was like, the only way to do this is to go to school, get myself set up,
Yeah.
and buy my own stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's just, it's not gonna happen. That's the
Yeah.
only way it's gonna happen. So I already had that as an option to like fall back on
Right.
to support my craft and support the things that I want to do
Right.
without having to depend on anybody. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying?
that's
So
good. Man, that's good, man. That's some good gems right there, man. Because I'm sure there's people that could be frustrated with their jobs or, are not possibly doing what they feel is their purpose or passion. But, realistically, you still got bills to pay. People got kids, people got mortgage.
ex-
Like it's real life, man. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you got to pivot. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to do certain things that at that moment don't make sense, but it's in God's timing, not yours. You know what I'm saying? So that's
exactly.
where it's at, and so how long were you doing the IT situation?
I was doing it up until last June.
Last June.
So yeah, so probably like up until a few months ago, because I wanted to make sure like outside was safe.
Yeah,
COVID
yeah,
wasn't really like, because I was like, is this, because like it took a while, you know what I mean,
yeah,
for
yeah.
things to like open back up,
Hmm.
everything to be. I mean, hell, we up until like last week, we're just now able to go into places without masks. You
True.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Look how
yeah,
long it's been. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
man.
the pandemic lasts way longer than we thought. You know what I mean? And
True.
a couple months before that, they just started to let people go back to work full time,
That's true.
in the office. So like the pandemic, it stretched for like about 2 years,
Yeah, man. No, that's
it's
true.
there was nothing. Like, I mean, everybody I felt like was trying to figure out life at that point. And although I was working, I was constantly like reinvesting. So
Hmm.
while I was working, I was like, okay, let's try to position myself into something else that's going to make me additional money. So I started my clothing brand,
Yeah.
premise clothing. Like, so while I was working, I would invest. I started up my second business,
Hmm.
premise, and I invested. Every time I got paid, every time I got some money, I'll just pour into it, because I'm like, at least if whatever happens, you know what I'm saying, I have another safety net. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right,
Like the goal is to get as many safety nets as possible, you know.
right.
So I started looking into like crypto. I started
Mm-hmm.
doing my research on crypto. I started getting into stocks, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then you know, my homeboy and I, we started to like really get into stocks. Like we started
Yeah,
to like look at like, you know, I was doing a whole YouTube university thing with it, you know,
yeah, yeah.
start looking at AMC. Like pretty much what I did was everything that I spend money on, I bought stocks in.
Got to.
You know,
Yeah.
it was iPhone, like Apple stock was like
ETFs, the whole nine.
it was like 150 a share.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it was like if I saw it as like if I buy a share Apple, then eventually I'm gonna make enough money to where I'll never have to buy an iPhone.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Because after a while, I'm gonna make so much money off the stocks that it'll pay for itself. You know, I will
yeah,
never have to pay for an iPhone again.
yeah. True.
Um, the movie I started investing in AMC, all the airlines when the stocks were, I mean, I think American Airlines was like $20-$30 at one
Yeah,
point for
yeah.
stocks. Zoom.
Yeah, yeah. Shout out
I
to
invested
Zoom. Shout
I
out to our
invested
sponsors at Zoom. Imagine.
bro, like
Yeah,
we just went crazy with it because
yeah.
once, like I said, if it wasn't for me going back to work in IT
Hmm.
and talking to my old coworker,
Yeah,
like that light bulb would have never kicked in.
yeah.
Like, oh shoot, like I
There's a
mean, and
way.
granted, it's not a way to get rich. It's not like a hustle. It's more
Yeah,
like a long term thing.
a
Like
process. Yeah,
it's like you gotta let your money sit there and just forget about it.
facts.
Over time is when the money will go. But at least if you can make $1 into $2, it's something after a
Yeah,
while, you know.
yeah.
And so, like I said, that's one of the main things that I got out the pandemic, and I'm thankful for it. You know,
That's awesome, man. That's cool, man. And do you feel like you left your IT job at a good time? Like when you look back at it, do you feel like, this was a good time to move on?
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Only because for two things, like um, I knew I knew the value of my time,
Yeah.
you know, and I knew that I wasn't willing to spend my time at a place where it wasn't like I didn't want no promotion. I didn't want a
Yeah.
raise. I didn't want a better position. Like I didn't want there was nothing that this job was going to offer me that I wanted aside from money. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So once I solidified, once I had that, I automatically knew like that's it for me. Because I mean, here's the thing: when I left my IT job, I left in the sense where I'm not leaving, but I'm just getting out the way
Mhm.
because somebody else is praying to be in the spot that I'm in right now. Like
Facts.
there's some kid that's graduating school that wants this position that I'm about to walk away from. And so said, so done. Like I literally, the guy that replaced my job, my position at my job, he had just finished school like a year and a half prior. And he
Crazy.
never had a stable job and he was married.
Mm.
You know, no, he was not correction. He was getting married in a
Damn.
few months, you know, so he was like under pressure, you know. He just moved into a spot. The job previously wasn't really secure for him. So
Yeah.
his main thing was longevity and security and then moving up in that tax bracket.
Right.
And so like he told me this whole story and I was like, that was the confirmation I needed.
Right. Right.
It was like had I not got out my way,
Mm.
I would have never allowed this dude who's been praying for this spot
Yeah.
to have an opportunity. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, like that was like that made it all worth it. You know what I'm saying? Because I
Yeah.
knew that I was getting out the way. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Getting out the way, moving on to something else that I know is more beneficial to me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And not
Yeah.
just not just on a monetary gain, but just like on a higher level. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I'm operating on a higher frequency. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because what I do creatively is not about the money. You know what I'm
Right. Right.
saying? It's not about the money because I walked away from money to do this. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So that's why everything that I do is just it's out of passion because
Mhm.
I've made up my mind that I don't want to do anything for money
Yeah.
anymore. Like I don't. Like I
Yeah.
don't want to do anything for money. Like I gotta get something else out of everything that I do.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if I do everything for money, then it's never gonna be enough.
Right.
It's never gonna be enough, you know.
Yeah.
So I do things to bring value into situations. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like whether it was DJing, whether it was IT, those things are in the past. Now, granted, you as a DJ, like once you're a DJ, you're always a DJ. It's not
Yeah.
something that you just take off and just be like, I'll never be a DJ. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
deep down inside, like to the core of you, like that's something that's gonna even in my videos, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it's heavily influenced by music. You know what I mean? The first thing that I did when I picked up the camera was music videos for the artists that I work with. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It was like it was more so like I had a camera
Hmm.
and I'm working with these artists. Let me shoot your music video. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like,
Yeah.
let me
Yeah.
be, I can be more than just your DJ. You know,
Yeah.
I could be, and granted, it's not discrediting. Like, again,
No, I feel you.
it's only because for me, I'm by nature, naturally, I'm a tech guy. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's the whole reason why I got the name DJ K-Tech.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
saying? Like it's literally in me. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like so I'm if I see a camera, like I'm gonna be like, oh, how do I'm gonna
Yeah.
figure this out. Like I'm just always willing to just sit there for hours and hours to try to figure out how to make something work,
Right.
especially if I get something out of it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So um the natural progression for me to start doing music videos and getting behind the camera, it was just like it just worked. It wasn't intentional like that, but
Yeah.
it just worked. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
No.
It
Yeah.
worked.
That's beautiful, man. That it's so crazy that story you said about like, your man's was getting married and like that just gave you extra confirmation of just being like, you know what, like it's time in your end. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you don't know. Like I feel like sometimes you might not know when it's time to do something, and sometimes I feel like God puts people around you and you go like, okay, he's talking to you in a certain way. He's talking to you, you just gotta listen. You know what I mean? Sometimes we talk to ourselves so much, we're not listening. You know what I
No.
mean? So it's a beautiful thing that, that happened for you like that. And you mentioned, crypto, you mentioned stuff like that. And for me personally, I'm super, super into the space of, blockchain, Web 3.0, the whole nine, right? And I feel like a lot of people, people are afraid of change, right? Like, I mean, granted, it makes sense, right? People are like, yo, what is this? It could be a scam, it could be, all these things. Why am I gonna be paying this much money for a monkey, for a this and that, and I get it, right? Like I get it,
Yeah.
you have empathy for people, but it's like in the end of the day, it's like I personally feel that's where we're headed to. I don't see us moving backwards. You know what I mean? So for you, you brought that up. Just for me, I'm like, all right, dope, that's what's up. Like, how do you feel about that whole space? Because I know how I feel, but I want to know like where you're at in that area. You know what I mean?
Evolution, man. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Evolution is something that is history repeating itself, you know? Like there's gonna always be people that's gonna be resistant, that's gonna resist evolution, and right now it's like it's the most, I feel like this is the one time in history where the whole entire world is changing
Yeah.
drastically. You know what I'm saying? So like with that, like it requires a person to have a different mindset, to be
Yeah.
more open. Like this is the one time ever in the lifetime of humanity where our thoughts can become physical. in
Yeah.
every aspect. Like literally, like we can be the natural creatives that we are destined to be. Like, and it doesn't. The cool thing about it is it doesn't matter what you like.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
doesn't matter what you like. Like you can. There's an opportunity for you out here. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Facts,
Like
man.
if you like drawing, if you like just talking to people, if you like cooking, if
Yeah.
you like, even if you're like not experiencing the real world and you just
Yeah.
have like a niche for something, you can create a YouTube channel and talk about whatever you want and get paid. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Facts.
Like we're both in bedrooms right now. You
Yeah.
know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like,
Yeah. No, it's
you know what I'm
facts,
saying?
man.
Like I feel like after a while, like people get ignorant to evolution and
Mm.
it's not something that you can necessarily fight.
Yeah.
You just gotta evolve with it,
Yeah. Yeah.
because it's not going nowhere. We're
Yeah.
not gonna go back to MySpace,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah. Yeah, your top eight ain't gonna be showing up no more, you know?
It's done. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? It's done. The
yeah,
the other ways of doing things is dinosaur, you
yeah,
know, it's
yeah,
over. So it's like you literally just have to. And as much stuff as I say, there's still a lot of things that I don't do,
yeah, yeah.
and I'm learning to, like, especially in the space that I'm in, I'm learning to just ask myself the same questions and
Mhm.
and get out of my own way a lot more now,
Yeah.
and since I've been doing that little by little, I start to be around, I start to come across more people
Mm.
who are the same way.
The
You know what I'm
energy,
saying?
man. Yeah,
That's right. The energy attracts, you know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
and those people, like, we feed off of each other,
Facts.
like I'm now working with directors now who are in that same space. So we're in a position now where it's like, okay, you have a camera. Like we literally are in a position where we can create a movie every day if we wanted to. You
Facts,
know what I'm
man.
saying? Like every day. And it's
Yeah.
like all we have to do is just be creative and
Mhm.
just put content out there, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, like, it's like I said, it's a great time, and I feel like there's so much information out there as
Yeah.
far as like blockchain, cryptocurrency, Web 3.0. Like,
Yeah.
we are, and in the metaverse, you see what's going on with Snoop, and
Mhm.
and you gotta applaud people like Snoop and
Yeah.
all these people who are not necessarily uh technology inclined, but willing
Yeah.
to invest in the people
Exactly. Yeah.
who are inclined, that can help put them in a position to where they can capitalize on these opportunities. Because now, like Kanye West put out his own album in his own digital space and bypassed iTunes and
Mm-hmm.
made millions
Yup.
of dollars an
Yup.
hour. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Facts, man.
if these things aren't motivation to you, then like you probably weren't going to succeed with anything in life anyways, you know.
Yes, it's so crazy. You even said like Snoop Dogg and Kanye, like, and people that already have, you know, success, right? Like it's not like they're coming up. Like they've been doing it for so long, and the fact that they're willing to evolve
Mhm.
begs the question why we're not willing to evolve. You know what I mean? And that's what you're saying. Like that's inspirational. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you brought up the point. It's like you could do anything, and you could do anything in the Web 3.0 and all that. Because I was even thinking, like, for example, like being a comedian, like you could get on those Oculus and have your own comedy club, and you don't have to force nobody to go. You don't have to force to go into a comedy show and try to get booked. You could be like, you know what, y'all, I'm gonna be in the metaverse comedy club, and I saw that, and I'm like, yo, like your mind just starts going crazy. You know what I mean? Like you trying to create, and it's like it's to the point where it's like you feel like your mind is going crazy of the ideas. You gotta write this stuff down. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like it's such a trip to think so much opportunities that you could that are here. But it's
Yeah.
about doing your research. You know what I mean? It's like being on YouTube. You know what I mean? Instead of like those little gaps of like watching interviews and the whole NFT. What is this? What is,
Yeah.
you know, DAOs? What is all that? And it's like, it's in the beginning. I remember when I saw, I was like, yo, this is overwhelming. But the curiosity, the creativity that you can see from it is, I think, what makes it so much more exciting. And it makes me excited to know that you're doing that, because, you know what I mean, I could be like, all right, cool, I got a homie that I could speak with it. You know what I mean? Because it's exciting, you know.
It's exciting, but then it's also like, what I learned too is like, it's almost too much information out there.
Oh yeah,
to the point where you'll get the information and then won't do nothing with it.
you
You know what I'm
procrastinate.
saying? And there's that procrastination, because like I feel like everybody wants to be successful.
Yeah.
You know, no one wants to fail. But
Mm-hmm.
literally what I've learned in the last 2 weeks
Mm-hmm.
is that you literally have to fail your way to success.
True.
Because there's no way you're gonna just hit everything on the target.
Yeah.
Like and I feel like the best things that I've learned is from failure.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not talking about like ignorant failure. I'm talking about
Yeah.
like I really gave it my all and it
Yeah.
just didn't work out well at
Yeah.
that moment. But like what I got out of it was like a lesson. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? A lesson that put me, like, the reason why I even got in a career in IT and even was able to be successful in IT is because I broke a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? As a kid, like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I had to figure out a lot of, shit on my own.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like I had to figure out a lot of shit on my own. Like I had to sit there and figure out why something is not working and make it work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, because I failed at things not working and all that stuff, like even like some of my first interviews, it was like I had no experience
Mm-hmm.
in IT. And I was going against like people that are twice my age or people who's been in the career field longer than I've been alive.
Yeah.
And so my pitch to every single executive that I'll be on the interviews is like, I was like, I don't have experience, but I've been troubleshooting my entire life.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
literally, I've been troubleshooting my entire life. So at the very least, I come with that experience of troubleshooting any and everything,
Yeah.
and that's gotten me that got me so many jobs before
Yeah.
I even had that much experience. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But
Yeah.
that same stuff apply. Like if you look at everybody who's successful, like they failed
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
man.
saying? Like I saw an interview with Steve Harvey the other day, and he was like, you know, I didn't get on TV until I was 36 years old.
I think was that on Earn Your Leisure?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
man. Yeah. That was a
And then
beautiful interview.
bro, and you saw all the things that he went through,
Gems,
from
bro.
taxes to like all kinds of stuff. You know what I mean? But that's everybody. Kanye, the car accident, people not believing in him,
Mm-hmm.
people bailing out on deals. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Jay-Z done been through it, like
Yeah.
Nip done been through it, like everybody's done
Mm-hmm.
been through those times where it was like, damn, like I thought it was gonna go this way, but it
Yeah.
went this way. You know what I'm saying? But
Facts.
because again, because they had to pivot, that
Mm-hmm.
pivot end up putting them into the right direction. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So like it's like, what is failure? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like what is failure at a certain point? It's like, yeah, it's I didn't fail, like it just didn't work out that way. You know what I'm saying? Like
I guess failure is failure to try. You know what I
fail
mean?
bro, failure is failure to try. Like I saw another
Yeah.
interview the other day. It was with the owner, the guy who manufacture and make the actual owner of Bel Air,
Yeah.
and the owner of Douce. Like he's making millions of dollars. Like his bottles is everywhere.
Yeah.
The people in the audience thought that Bel Air was owned by Rick Ross. He was like, no, that's my brand.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
own the brand. Like I've
Yeah.
made the brand. And
Yeah.
he was talking about how like it took him 26 years
Yeah.
to really get a success. He talked about how he lost his house.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? He got into the issues like Steve Harvey with the IRS, to where he used to make money, have to put in his wife's account. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? but he's like, it's all about, and that's why I wear this shirt, is because it's all about prospering. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta prosper through everything. Cause
Yeah.
it's like, if you don't, then like, I also saw something that was like, life is gonna test you for
Hmm.
authenticity.
Yeah.
You
Texture
know what I'm
textures,
saying?
man.
It's
Yeah.
gonna test you. And it's like, and it's only those people who really stay true to what they believe in. And that's
Yeah.
the key thing, like what you believe in, because it's gonna be a lot of people that don't believe in the vision that you have.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people, even for me, a lot of people be like, damn, like, you be all over the place. You doing this, you doing that, you doing that. I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, because I'm supposed to.
Yeah.
I'm
There's no
supposed to
other
be.
way.
I'm supposed to be moving.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm supposed to go from this to this to this. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my journey. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if I were to do anything else, like, like
Yeah.
I
You're not
can't.
yourself. Yeah. You're not being authentic
Exactly.
to yourself.
I'm not, like, if I were to sit, bro, if I were to sit at that IT job
Hmm.
another day, I would literally kill myself.
You were done.
I
You
was
were
like,
done.
not physically, but like my soul.
Yeah. Your
You know what
mindset
I'm
everywhere.
saying?
Yeah.
My mindset, like everything, like, at least being away from that, like, I'm always on my toes. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I can, like, they always say that you have to live a life uncomfortable.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
in being uncomfortable, like, you learn how to do so much more. You learn how to be more
Right.
resourceful.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you really get more out of life being uncomfortable than you do being comfortable.
That's true.
And I've listened and studied the success stories of
A lot.
so many people, bro.
Yeah.
And they all, no matter if they're white, black, no matter if they came from any household,
Hmm.
religion, whatever, they all have the same story.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The same exact story, whether they came from money, whether they didn't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even Elon Musk, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
all their stories is filled with adversities that they,
Facts.
and the only difference between them and any of us is that they just kept going.
They tried. They kept trying.
They kept trying. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, they
Yeah.
kept trying. You know what I'm saying? Just because it didn't work on the timeline that, a lot of us wanted to, like,
Yeah.
you just kept trying. Cause look at, you going back to the Kanye thing. You seen the documentary, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing, bro.
When he was playing Jesus Walks back in
Yeah.
like like in 2002,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah. It was like,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah. 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 Oh,
y'all saying no to a legend?
but
Like,
and it's crazy because at that time, people didn't see him as a legend, right? And now we look back and we're like, oh man, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's so crazy to see a documentary like that. And it just that, I mean, that documentary was so inspiring, bro. Like, I saw that. I just wanted to make, I was like, I gotta make some beats. You know what I mean?
right.
Yeah. But well, let me ask you something, K-Teq. Do you think, and I always say this with people, I'm like, I feel like maybe, I'm not gonna act like, I haven't been guilty of it as well, but it's like, do you think maybe the reason why maybe sometimes people don't want to try is because now we live in the world where on social media, everything is a highlight tape. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah.
the feed is like success, 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 success.
Yeah.
So that, I see that sometimes. I'm like, man, you gotta be on your social media, and that mindset gotta be tough. You gotta be strong, because I think, like, you look at everybody's, if you go on the gram right now, you're gonna see nothing but great things, nothing but, success, success. And I'm sure for some people that gets discouraging. You know what I
Ah,
mean? So that's the thing that I feel is so important about what you consume, what energy you take in, and what you listen to. Because it's like, if you're watching nothing but success stories, but in a way where it's like you feel like you're not able to do it yourself, that could be tricky. That could be dangerous. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that's another part where people possibly, and I don't want to speak for every person, but it's like, you're like, man, I want to try this. But like, for example, like, maybe I'm a chef and I want to do something, but then you look at an Instagram page and that account got like 4 million followers, and you're like, damn, all I got is like 76 followers, and it's like my fam, like that. I think that's that part that I think we got to find out, as a community, as just people, to be like, how can we break those barriers? You know what I'm saying? And that's why, like, when I'm on this podcast, I'm glad when you talk like that, because it's like, who knows if it's just one person or even me, like, inspiring me to do, like, you know what, like, maybe tomorrow instead of doing this, I gotta work harder. You know what I'm saying? And that's why it's so important what we consume. But how do you feel about that? You know what I'm saying? Do you feel like maybe there's some truth to that? You know what I mean? Like, just seeing maybe that there's a highlight tape in social media and stuff like that.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely, because no one wants to look crazy in the public eye. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And
man.
no one, like again, like I said, no one wants to fail.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? No, and then no one wants to publicly be known as a failure.
yeah.
Hell no. Honestly, the
Yeah,
the the clothing brand that I got right
yeah,
now, like
yeah,
the site's been down for 3-4 months. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? I got overwhelmed with the process of what it took to run a clothing brand.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? Like I was doing, I I honestly took on a lot of responsibilities for myself.
mm,
Like I would everything that everything of the clothing brand, like I made it myself, like
yeah,
handmade it. You know what I mean? I didn't
yeah,
like go buy the blank hats and the blank t-shirts and go give it to somebody and they did
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Like behind me is like the heat press and the hat press,
The whole thing.
like everything. Like I was literally doing everything myself because I was just trying to do it myself. So one, I can kind of put my own energy into it, but then
Right.
two, also cut costs,
Yeah, yeah, you got to. Yeah,
and but there's only so much that you can do by yourself, you know what I
yeah,
mean? But
yeah.
I learned a lot of valuable lessons in that.
Mm,
The brand is not dead, it's just I needed a break to
yeah,
sort it out, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And I'm not going to say I lost money. I lost a lot of traction, you know,
yeah,
and so I had to again, this phase that I'm in is just more of like a reinventing the wheel because everything I feel like was going on were all everything that not just me, everyone have great ideas. You
yeah,
know, they have great visions and everybody I feel like wants to have success.
yeah,
But it's like again, it's about persevering through it. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
And like what success really is like falling 1,000 times.
yeah.
You know, I get a lot of people that talk about there's a new clothing brand, not new, but there's a clothing brand called the gallery department, right?
Mm,
And a lot of celebrities are wearing it. A lot of people are wearing it everywhere. They're selling out like crazy. And then a lot of people are like, oh yeah, this brand just started in 2017 and they're already all over the place. It's like, yeah, but sometimes we look at things that people are doing successfully, but don't take account for, yeah, that business is successful right now, but how many businesses did they have before that failed?
yeah, that's
You know
true.
what I'm saying? Or like how many things did he, it may not be businesses, but how many things did he fail at before he
Yeah,
became successful at that? Because it only takes one thing.
yeah,
Like one thing has to take off. Like the one thing that might put you into that might catapult you might not be the thing that you're doing right now.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? It might take for you. It's just the space that you're operating in right now, but it may take for you to be like, you know what, I gotta fold this and I gotta get
mm,
out my way
yeah,
and make room for something else, you know?
true.
And I feel like when it comes down to the social media thing, it's like I feel like, and this is based on my experience because I've felt that way, you know,
Right,
like
right.
sometimes I can work on a video and it be like the best video I ever
Yeah, yeah,
edited on. And then I upload it. I'm like, oh yeah, everybody's gonna like this video. And
yeah.
they get like 5 likes. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then you kind of feel like you just feel
Fuck.
you feel
Yeah,
depleted,
that's
you know?
deflating, bro. That's
You know what I mean?
deflating. Yeah.
Like you feel like, damn, like I done spent hours,
Facts, man.
hours.
You
I mean,
start refreshing. You're like, yo, is Instagram down? You check Twitter?
sometimes you got you hit up the homies. Like, hey,
Yeah,
you see that
yeah,
new video I
yeah.
posted?
Hey,
It's
what you
fire, right?
think? Yeah,
He's like, oh, I didn't even see it. You know what I mean? Like, it's really like
oh
it's
man,
really it's really about being transparent. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And I literally made up my mind that I want to be more transparent with my followers. Like I don't
yeah,
care
yeah,
about how many followers I have, because I know the people that do connect with me, they connect with me in a real way. And
yeah,
those are the people that I want to, those 5 people that did like that
yeah,
video, those are the ones that I'm doing it for. Like I'll take
yeah,
those 5 because
yeah,
eventually those 5 are going to turn into 50. You know,
hmm,
50 is going to turn into 100. You know
yeah,
what I mean? And the ones that don't, like, God bless them. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like I see it as in like, man, I'm just like in the Kanye phase. You know what I mean? Like they I played them my best beat and they didn't like it. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? I'm gonna
yeah.
drop it on them again.
Yeah. No, yeah, yeah. No, man, that's cool. And I think being transparent and at least, when I say even vulnerable, that word is like could be heavy, right? Because it's like, I mean, for us, it's like, and at least in the quote unquote, like in a man, mindset, you oh vulnerable. That sounds like, oh, I don't be vulnerable. You know what I mean? But I've noticed that when you are vulnerable, you know, people could relate to that because it's like, yo, we're all human beings, man. We all just trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? We're all just trying to make it. And in the end of the day, it's like I think with patience, I think that's another word that I feel like I try to tell myself, patience. You know what I mean? Because we want
Yeah.
things so fast, we like, and that's because, maybe our like older generations, we expected to be married with 15 kids and 3 houses by 30. You know what I mean? It's like,
Right.
that's so, to be patient and to just love what we do, man. And that's why like it's so good and like to hear a conversation, and feel like, man, like that's cool, man. To even for you to be like, I worked so hard on the video and I got 5 likes. It's hard
Yeah.
to miss some shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna
Mm-hmm.
try to brush that shit off, like, oh no, that's something I just posted. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's cool. I ain't even tripping. You know,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So it's so cool, man. And how are you right now with everything that you got going on? I know that we spoke pandemic, we spoke about all of that, but it's like, how are you doing right now? I know you said, the close is on pause, you know what I'm saying? And,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't even know if you want to say pause, but just, maybe just you're trying to get some things right for it, you know what I mean? But like, how are
Yeah.
you just in general with everything that you got going on in the current time frame?
I'm actually in a good, like I said, I'm in a good space.
Yeah,
Uh, life is like ups and downs, but I feel like the more you go, the more you navigate through it, the more you kind of know, okay, I know what this is. When you hit those bumps in the road, you
yeah,
kind of identify like, all right, I know what this is.
yeah,
There's some times where like I know when I'm going through a season, so
mm,
I know when to like focus more so like heavy on keeping my mind in a positive space to just get through that little dark time. You
yeah,
know what I mean? And so in those times, I really stayed like heavy into like what I absorbed. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
And like focus on clearing my head. But like right now, you know, like I said, I've been praying a lot.
yeah,
Been meditating a lot, working out a whole lot. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Just eating as healthy as I possibly can on a
yeah,
on a more consistent basis,
yeah,
and trusting the process because there's a lot of great things that's going on right now.
mm,
Um, and it's because it's been like the seeds that's been planted. Like sometimes like I like a lot of times like especially recently when you feel like you're not really moving, I've been going back and looking at some of the things that I accomplished
mm,
and as like a reminiscence to like keep going. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like and also look at the things that you're currently on the process doing. Like I'm literally about to go shoot a pilot commercial,
yeah,
for Tesla. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And just to say that I'm
yeah,
shooting a commercial, you know what I'm saying? Or just to say that I'm working with the real director or like to say that I'm doing like production, supposed to
Right.
like I'm about to go shoot somebody's birthday party or wedding. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like to just because I'm evolving, you know what I
Right.
mean? And then
Right.
I'm also learning, I'm learning how
Yeah.
to get better. There's a lot of new things that I'm learning. So it's like it's a great space right now that I'm in.
Yeah.
And it's a daily thing to try to remain in that good space. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Having healthy conversations with people,
Yeah.
you know,
Important.
having just like a good support system, even if it's just one person,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Just a person that outside of yourself that you can resort to, to just uplift you, and
Yeah.
vice versa. You know what I'm saying? There's times where, I'll need to have somebody to uplift me. You know what
Mm.
I'm saying? And then there's times where there's people like it's just a core. It's more than just me. You know what I'm saying? There's
Yeah.
other people that help me to like keep staying the course. Like sometimes I'll have friends that will go take a picture of their premise outfits and like send it to me, be like,
Yeah.
yeah, like I'm still rocking this every day,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
kind of keeps me like, all right, like
Yeah.
I'm coming back. Like I ain't on social media making announcements about every move, but
Yeah.
like I know it's all written down, like
Mm.
on its time. And the thing is like I'm not rushing it. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
not I'm not rushing anything. You know what I mean? At this point, I'm not rushing anything
Yeah.
because, like, again, at one point, I used to be a fan of DJ Drama, like listening to Gangsta Grills, all his mixtapes.
Yeah.
And that same energy that took me from listening to him is the same energy that I took from being on a set DJing side by side with him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like anything is possible.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like it's just been possible because not because I heard it, it's because I seen it. It's
Yeah.
happened. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like I've seen it. It's not like I'm operating on like a an illusion. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there was things that I once thought that I knew I wanted, and I knew it was like far off. Like even when I
Right.
said it, it was like, dang. Like I remember the first time I saw Drama, and I tweeted on Twitter, and I was like, yeah, I was like, one day I'm gonna work with him. And
Yeah.
I knew that was like a long shot, you
Yeah.
know. But then to actually do it, it was like
It was dope.
it still is, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Because it's
Yeah.
like I said, he's one of the many DJs that I was like, yo,
Yeah.
like I really fuck with Drama, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So like, it's things like that, like I said, that keeps me in that even for you, bro. Like I saw you. You
Yeah.
know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
I always wanted to be on radio, but never knew how the radio setup works. You know what I'm
Right. Right. Right.
saying?
Right. Right.
Like I've been up at the station and saw you doing your thing. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you worked and still know like some of the elite DJs in LA. You know what
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like you forever will hold that stamp, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
of being one of the elite DJs on Power 106. To say that you was even a Power 106 DJs, there's only so many DJs that can hold that title.
Yeah, man.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Whether
No.
it was whether you was a big, high or low, the people know. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah.
the people that don't know are the people that don't know a lot behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? But it's like if you know, you know. You know what I'm
Yeah. If you
saying?
know, you
And
know.
yeah, if you
Yeah.
know, if you know, you know. And that, but that's saying like at some point you wasn't there. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And then you got there.
Yeah.
So wherever your next step is, it's like it's just a matter of you just getting there. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like
Yeah.
because you already accomplished something that you didn't think that was possible. Now
Yeah.
it's possible.
Exactly.
That's no longer you never want to go, you never want to say, oh, one day I want to be a Power 106 DJ. I already did it.
Yeah, it's on to the next thing. Yeah,
it's
yeah,
a,
yeah.
it's on to the next thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel
Like
like you use that as kind of like I don't want to I'm trying to look for the right word, but like you use what you did kind of like I don't want to say like a rough draft, but kind of like we've done this.
it's a reference. It's a reference
Exactly.
point.
Yeah, yeah. It's like we're able to now do this. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's kind of like also being like there's no excuse why you're not able to do something as well, right? Like it's kind of like we've done some things, right? It's
yeah,
like now it's like we could do even these things that we got going on right now, or even more things, which is crazy, man. You know what I'm saying? And like,
yeah,
and for you to tell me that, man, I appreciate you, man. Like, just showing love to me like that. Like, it's dope for you to, us, like I said, us having these conversations are, I think, super important, man. Like to one up another person, man,
yeah,
man
for
to
sure,
man, and like
for
people that do
sure.
different things. Like, it's so good, and I appreciate, you being, transparent, man. You know what I'm saying? Because as you're talking, there's things that I could be like, man, like that helps me out too as a person. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
and I hope it helps somebody else out, man. And because it's like it is good for you to even talk about it. Because even when you talk about it, you're hearing yourself speak, and you're like, like you kind of get reminded of certain things, and you're like, oh wait, like, oh, I didn't even think that I was gonna say that, and it just came out. I didn't know I was
yeah,
feeling that. That's why
hmm,
it's so good to just talk about things. You know what I mean? And
yeah, bro.
it's so crazy because we don't want to talk about things sometimes, right? We just go, no, I'm good. Like, oh my,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And then when you do
yeah,
talk about it, like it's like you feel kind of better about it. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And I'm glad to see that you're in a good spot, man. Because it's like I said, like I remember the first time meeting you, how we linked up. Shout out to our boy Hector. You know what I'm saying?
Hector.
And
Yep,
yeah,
yep.
and it's like, and I think one thing that I like about you, and I'm sure when people listen to this podcast, they could back me up on this, is that you have a way of going like, hey, let's do this, and it's like, I don't want to, no, let's try it, let's do it, right? Like it's kind
Yeah,
of like you,
yeah,
you you have this good thing, and I'm not just saying that just because I'm talking to you right now, but I could really say that it's like if I'm for example like, yo, I want to do this, and I don't know if I should, no, well, let's try it. And if it doesn't work out, at least we did it. And it's like,
yeah,
and sometimes it might end up being a good shot, or it might end up being a good clip. So I think that's just a good testament of your character. You know what I'm saying?
I
Because it's
appreciate
like,
that.
yeah, man, I'm being real, because it's like, when someone's recording you or taking pictures and stuff like that, and obviously you do multiple things, like it's like, like you don't really know how to go about a situation like that. You know what I'm saying? I feel like one thing that you do well is make another person feel comfortable. And I think that's super important when someone's recording you and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like
Yeah,
it's like somebody, like, you know what I mean? Like I don't want someone recording me and it's like, all right, man, here we
yeah.
go. And you're like, all right, photo shoot, like, so you
Well,
know what I mean? Like
it's like it really comes down to just being very transparent within yourself.
yeah,
And when you're transparent with yourself, like people, like I feel like life is a feeling process, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
man.
Like it's all about frequencies. And like I learned that like um we don't really communicate through what we hear. It's our frequencies. Like
Yeah,
right
man.
right now, like you come from a radio background. Like power 106 is just a frequency.
Frequency. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And the only way that you can hear that frequency is if you manually change the radio station so
Mhm.
that that frequency comes back as an audio. So
Yeah,
like
man.
that same thing is how we essentially how we communicate with each other. You know what
Facts,
I'm
bro.
saying? When we operate in a frequency, like we attract those things. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like
Yeah.
we hear you're gonna hear people in a different way. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so like the reason why, you know, I'm able to create visuals because it's a hard thing
Yeah,
to
for sure.
create something that doesn't exist and people like it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
people are willing to pay me for that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because a camera is just a camera, no matter
Mhm.
what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's the fact of knowing what something looks like enough to where people trust your vision. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like people trust your vision to know that, like, okay, you're going to create whatever it is. Like it's sometimes people have no idea what they want. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They just say, I just want this. And then
Mhm.
they just know that they can give that to me and I'm going to make
Do
it into
something. Yeah.
something.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? But like again, it's only because who you have to become that.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
you have to become that person within you. Like, cause without that, like without becoming a person that has a good vision, the
hmm,
camera has no direction. The camera can't do anything I don't tell it to do.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So I give vision to the camera. The
yeah.
camera just repeats whatever I tell it to do.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? It's like
yeah,
it's the same thing like what you making beats, bro.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Like like
Machine is there. Yeah, the machine is just gonna be there.
right, but take it a step further, it's like you got all these elements, you know
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
saying? And all you're doing is you're taking this element and you're putting it there, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And you're combining them together to
yeah,
make a song, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And how you make that sound good is trusting your gut, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Knowing what you feel like is good. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like trusting your ear. Like
yeah,
your ear is your vision. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
man.
And
Yeah,
in that process, it's like, and I feel it like it's a spiritual thing
yeah,
because like you know you like get like these signs of like, okay, this is good, like this is
hmm,
done, like this is
yeah,
complete, like this
yeah,
sounds good, like this bass needs to be set at this parameter. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like because you never really know before you get into that zone
hmm,
how it's going to be. You know what I'm saying? You kind of have an idea, but
hmm,
then like in that process it's like you're being guided, like okay, I want to start off with a snare, the hi-hat, you know what I'm saying, 808s, you know, from there
yeah.
it's
Boom.
like thought by thought, you know what I
Yeah,
mean, little by little. It's like literally the same way you apply that is the same way it goes to like I feel like everything.
yeah. Everything
You know
in
what I'm
life.
saying?
Everything in
Every,
life, man.
everything in life is literally like it's the exact same way. Like working on computers is the exact same way
Yeah.
as it is editing videos. You know what I'm saying? Like it all requires like the same mindset.
Hmm.
You know what
And
I
just
mean?
doing it and just doing it. I think that's the main thing too. Just doing it.
And just
You know.
doing it and just
Yeah.
doing it and trusting the process. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah, man.
trusting the process that eventually, you know, because when I start anything new, I know I'm going to suck at
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
like you're just it's literally going to be the worst that you're going to ever do
No, it's true.
anything. Like
No, it's
bro,
true.
like before I start making these shirts and these hats, like for instance, we'll show you right here. This hat is ass.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
supposed to look like
You're like,
this.
it's supposed to not be ass, but it's ass.
Right. But this is how I started. Look,
Yeah, yeah.
this is what it's supposed to look like,
Yeah.
but this is how it started. You know what
That's
I'm
awesome.
saying?
That's
So
awesome.
it's like you literally have to fail your way to success.
Yeah.
There's no there's no way you're going to jump on a bike and
Yeah.
just start riding down the block and never fall off. You know
It's
what I'm
true,
saying?
man.
Like in fact, falling off is almost encouraged. That's why they put training wheels because
Yeah.
they know without that you're gonna fall.
I mean, it's crazy even when you say that. It's like when there's already things set up for being okay to fail, right? Because it's like I even think about it even like in an athletic mindset, right? It's like I
Yeah.
think about even the best quarterback in the world, whether you think it's Brady, Montana, whatever.
Mm,
He has thrown an interception at some point in his career.
for
You know what I'm
sure.
saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's even a statistic called the interception. No, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, even at that standpoint, it's like he could be the best quarterback. You can know how to read defenses, no matter what. He's
Yeah.
gonna throw an interception, and that he's not gonna go to the bench and go, all right, I'm done. I'm not gonna be a
Yeah.
quarterback no more. You know, yeah, take my Super Bowl rings. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so that's the part where it's like when you see it like that, it's like, bruh, like you just gotta do it. You know what I mean? And
Bro.
energy, man. It's all about energy. Shout out to my boy Mars because he always talks about energy, and it's crazy because I feel like that word, it's gotten used a lot, right? Like, oh, energy, right? And even some people might even want to use it, like oh, energy. He has such good energy, right? But it's like when you really think about it, man, it's like life is all about energy. How many times have you walked into a room and nobody has even said anything, and you feel energy?
Oh
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Hey, so hey, everything cool in here? Like, hey, y'all good? Like, what happened here? And it's all about
Yeah.
energy. Like you said, it's a frequency. It's like
Yeah.
they might not even say anything, or someone you could be like, you don't even know, and you already feel a good energy. And that's
Yeah.
something I always try to showcase, man. Good energy. And I'm thankful for you giving me good energy tonight, man, because I had a great conversation. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
like I'm
Appreciate
like
it.
I had a good time just speaking to you, man. And it's like,
Yeah.
is there anything else that, I mean, I don't know if there's anything else you want to share or anything you want to talk about. I feel like we talked about some good stuff, but is there anything else you feel like we should talk about?
Oh no, man. I first want to always, extend my appreciation because, from day one, we always every time we link up, we just
Yeah.
laughing,
Yeah,
always
yeah,
got like we don't even have to see each other. We just be
yeah.
across the room and we just look at each other, just start.
Yeah.
It's always dope when the moment you see someone, you just laugh. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
just
yeah,
instantly like it's just that high vibration. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah,
Just it's always like dope vibes. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Now,
man.
granted, I'm not always like the smiling type, but I'm more like you feel me out, and you know that
Yeah.
I'm not somebody that's just gonna come in. I'm just for one, I'm probably doing 1,000 things at one
Yeah, yeah,
time
yeah,
when you
yeah,
do see me.
yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
saying? But when you do get a time to like sit down and talk, like it's gonna be the
cool,
same
man.
thing. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be
Yeah,
chill, it's gonna be vibe. But
yeah.
again, I always appreciate, you always being just like a dope person to just talk
Thanks,
to.
bro.
And then just invited me on, like, I mean, just keep it real. Like, bro, like I ain't posting nothing on Instagram every
Yeah,
day. Like, ain't nobody.
yeah,
I ain't really. I'm not really. And it's really intentional that I'm not like
yeah,
this social media
yeah.
person that's like, hey yo, hey, check this out. I got this. I'm
Yeah,
click the link in the description. Like, no, because
yeah,
I'm really all about like organic
yeah,
following. And again, my whole motto with social media is to be transparent, you know what I
yeah,
mean, and not to fake like somebody who has it all figured out, you know
yeah,
what I mean. Like I'm just a person that's just like I'm just gonna jump into something, you know what I
yeah,
mean,
man.
and then just figuring out. So again, thank you for the podcast.
Yeah, man.
Continue to push them out.
Thanks,
You know what I
bro.
mean, and keep it going because, like I said, you never know, and I just wish you continued success because
Thank you, man.
regardless whether it can be anything, and then also there's people that's silently watching, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying,
yeah,
that's
man.
inspired by the things that you do. And you
Yeah,
never know who you're influencing. It can be a kid, it can
yeah,
be a
man.
cousin, it can be your neighbor, it can be anybody that's just that's your influence. You know what I
That's
mean?
true.
Like the power influence is such a big thing. And I'm not talking about social media influencers. I'm talking about real influence, like
Yeah.
the ones that probably would never say anything.
Yeah,
You know
no,
what
it's
I
true,
mean?
man. Not to cut you off, but I feel like I feel like you'll feel at your purest form and you feel like you're doing your purpose when you're serving others, right? Like I always feel like my most joy is when I'm serving others, and what I mean by that is like when somebody tells me that they either got, knowledge from a podcast, it's like, man, like I think, I've gotten, messages from certain people that, yo, man, like, and it's like you wouldn't even think that it's weird, right? Because it's like you do something and you're not really thinking like that someone's listening, but someone's listening. I know it sounds like what the fuck are you
Yeah,
talking
no,
about? But
no,
it's
no,
like,
no.
but you know what I
No,
mean?
I
And
hear
it's
you.
like,
I hear you.
but it's like, people have been like, yo, man, I appreciate, and it's like, hey, yo, man, is there an episode? And it's like, and it's crazy because it's like, oh man, like you don't really realize sometimes the impact you have, right? And that's why
Mm,
sometimes when you have these conversations, and I know you right now, you said like, oh, I don't do social media, but it's not even about that in the end of the day. And I'm not just saying that, but it's like, yeah, okay, it's cool to get the following for your business, quote unquote. Like we're not gonna act naive about that, right? But
yeah,
it
yeah.
is cool to be like, get these conversations to help other people, man. Because I think that's what it's all about. I always feel that my ultimate purpose is to help other people, man. That's just where it's at. That's just my passion, is to other, and not even necessarily help people, whether it has to be with money, whatever, bro. Just making you laugh. Today it could be me helping you, making you laugh. Tomorrow it could be me teaching you about how to do this. You know what I mean? And I think that's what it's all about, man. You know what I mean?
And there's power in laughter, bro.
Yeah.
The world needs it, bro. Like,
yeah.
And I'm telling you from experience, when I was sick one time, and I had a homegirl that got tickets to a Kevin Hart concert. Now, granted, this is like the second time I've been invited to see Kevin Hart. And the first time I was in Vegas, and it was at the Staples. But this time she was like, no, you coming. So I was like, all right, I went. And bro, like, I felt so much better after that concert, after that performance. It was like,
feel good.
Like laughter really takes off the seriousness of life sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And just adds that refreshing comedy, relatable comedy to it. And sometimes it does. A lot of times when you look at comedy, it's just sharing relatable experience and seeing the humor of it all. You know what I mean? Because that's what makes a joke funny is can people relate to it?
Yeah. If you can't relate, and it's like if they say a math joke, I'm like, what the? And people laugh. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck is square root of pi and all that shit. I'm like, I don't fucking know. You feel me? But I'm like,
that joke didn't work.
Yeah, I'm like, let me swipe up. You know what I mean? Like, take that out of my TikTok algorithm quick.
And I see the humor side of you. I see it in your son. You know what I'm saying? He's so animated. I remember seeing you and him like in a car ride to school in the morning, and little man is in the back just like turned up. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like on site. You know what I'm saying?
He sees a camera. He's like, oh shit. He's like, he's ready, bro. Yeah,
he's like, he's on. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's gotta be dope to see like another version of you in the world. You know what I'm saying?
It's so crazy. I don't even know how to explain it, but it's like he brings out so much joy and inner youth in me, because you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'm young, you know what I'm saying? I feel like, I don't got no gray hair yet, you know what I mean? But it's like he takes out this inner youth in me, dog, that is just like, you could be going through some shit, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, you're like, man, and then he does something that is just like, man, like, what am I tripping about, man? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I think that's the beauty as a parent, right? As a father, it's like you see your son have so much joy over like getting French fries, like something small, like, dog, or like watching a wrestling match, and I'm like, the joy that he has with doing those things. It just puts life in a different perspective, man. Turning video. No, you good. Yeah. I thought you turned off your video. You gonna start crying, bro. I was like, don't cry on me yet. Don't cry on me right now. I was like, not right now. I'm gonna cry with you. No, but it's like, but it's like I said, man. I appreciate showing love to little man, because it's cool, man. But it's a beautiful process, you know what I mean? And like I said, I appreciate you being on the pod, man, and hopefully people got some gems, and tell the people where they could follow you, man. I know you got you got some Instagram accounts, you know what I'm saying? I know you got the multiples, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? But where can people follow you, man?
Well, thank you for that. Okay, so for the visuals, it's K-Teq Visuals. That's K-T-E-Q. Visuals is the visual photography, videography page. And then the clothing brand is Primus_clothing. That's Primus on Instagram. And then there's just K-Teq. You just type in K-T-E-Q, the only one on Instagram.
Okay.
And that's like between K-Teq Visuals and K-Teq, because K-Teq was like a spinoff from DJ K-Teq. So it was so many people that I have following me from the DJing days and like the whole establishment on Instagram. Like, that's like the primary page. And then once I got to visuals, it was like, okay, I gotta You gotta do
Yeah.
both. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
But those are my page, and then yeah, man, just
Yeah.
tap in,
There it is.
whatever.
There it is. And when you hit up K-Teq, when you're in his DMs, it's business only. All right. The price went up. You know what I'm saying? My boy Red.
Yesterday's price is not today's price.
You feel me? Hey, my boy said I got the commercial with Tesla. The stock went up after that.
Bruh, when we dropped this Tesla commercial,
yeah. I'm gonna be
still
like
in the
K-Teq.
meeting.
I'm gonna be like K-Teq, how you been? You be like, hey, I'm sorry, I can't talk right now, fam. I'm like, damn, I got him right on time. I got him right before the commercial, dog.
Man, bro, nah, it's always love,
Yeah,
regardless,
appreciate
man.
that,
I'm just
man.
out here trying to figure it out.